Outer Orange.
This is an entire deck of one-ofs. Almost. Welcome back, y'all. We are here to talk about Petralka. This is the right line behind, so I'm going to showcase it here in a second. So Petralka is a Highlander deck with a bunch of one-ofs and stuff like that, and it's really cool. I will say the deck's a little gimmicky right now. It's definitely more casual. I think as the card pool gets bigger, as we get better generic cards, this deck will definitely get better. But right now, it is definitely still struggling a little bit. Needs a little bit more help, a little bit more pizzazz, but it's missing some stuff, but it's still pretty good. I think it's just okay. The high roll is pretty nice, and it just can kind of sometimes win games, it kind of sometimes not. But this is Petralka, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about her and the deck involved. Now keep in mind, D is gonna have a 54 card deck soon. I will say without set 4, this deck, upgrading this deck feels a little weird to the 4 extra cards. There just isn't really much else to work with, but I'll probably give you guys some, like 4 cards you could probably add in for now and just kind of work with that. But let's go ahead and get started. Before that, we got the sleeves. So I'm using the dragon sleeves for this is the dragon shield sleeves for the ride deck sleeves because I just really like them, and then I'm using monster strike sleeves for the actual deck because I actually just really love these sleeves. I've been really into like just really cool design over like anime art type of sleeves recently. It's just been kind of like my go-to, and I love green a lot, and there's green on these, so I really like them. And then for the deck box, so originally, funny story about this deck, I actually built it for my friend who entered BCS because he doesn't really play Standard that much anymore. He just wanted a deck to play, and he really likes Petralka, so I actually built this for him. And he's a big Angel Feather fan, and he just likes angels, so I actually used the steel deck box. And I also try to put angels in the card slots as well as I was building it for him as much as I could. Start with the 0. So you want to run Neon. I run a card in here that really prioritizes the SD's name. So you do want a SD's somewhere, and this is where I'm choosing to run it. You can run the SD's package. You can run the 1 and 2 with this deck. It's okay. I'm choosing to run a different package, but you can pick what package you want to run. So next we have the Ballista. This is the grade 1 Ballista. The on ride, you can put a card to soul, and then you can search your deck for a gem, add to hand. And yeah, basically this is just the Ballista stuff. If you're familiar with Ballista, the grade 2 kind of follows along with it. So this here is the grade 2 Ballista. So when you ride her on top of her effect procs, you have the gem in hand. We're running the grade 1 gem in this deck, the grade 1 gem that says Quint to Soul, draw 2, give your, we'll draw 2 over her, and then give your Vanguard plus 5k power. So then you draw an extra card when you play your gem, so it's just like that gem package that a lot of decks like to run. Like I said, you can run the SD's package in here. That's okay. I think that's perfectly valid, especially if you're pro retire, or if you don't care about the 5k or the deck thin. This is fine too. I like the deck thin. I like the extra draw early because this deck doesn't draw that well, and you really want to see certain cards kind of early, and if you don't see those cards, it's kind of rough. Like I said, it's a 1-of, so you gotta be careful. Last but not least, we have Petralka. It says, at the end of the battle that this unit attacked a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, reveal the top 7 cards of your deck. If the revealed cards other than herself have different card names, that includes triggers, by the way, so your triggers have to be different as well. You can choose a card from that top 7 and call it to the rearguard circle, and then if it's her or her name, you can actually ride, and then you lose a drive, and the card gets 10k power. So if you basically find a copy of yourself, you can ride it, and then you can get an extra drive check, just 1, or you can call a rearguard to the rearguard circle, and it also gets 10k power. So up to you how you want to do it. It is completely up to you. So if you want to get the Vanguard effect, or if you want to get a rearguard effect, like I said, as we get better rearguards, sometimes you may want to utilize the rearguards, because once you run out of copies, you get kind of stuck a little bit, and that's like the biggest downside of the deck, is getting stuck. There are ways to unstuckify yourself, but you have to like really draw into certain pieces for that. So yeah, but basically it can keep rewriting as for every combos you have, and if you hit it in top 7, you keep hitting the card, you can keep going. So yes, you can keep attacking over and over and over again. You can keep doing it. Just keep in mind of the fact that you will run out of copies. We do run the new promo in here as well. The promo also counts as a copy of herself, so you can also run into her to kind of slow it down a little bit, maybe not go through your entire deck. But yeah, this is basically the ride line. Let's go ahead and talk about the cards themselves. All right, so going into the grade 3s, you obviously want Persona. This is Persona. You can actually Persona ride her regularly, but you can also just use her as, of course, a way to extend attacks with herself. So obviously you want to maximize on this. There is a new promo that also copies her main name, but there's this new promo that came out. This is the Lizetti. The Lizetti also counts as a copy of the Petralka, and then she also can be ridden basically. And then she says, so on Vanguard at the end of the battle, basically at the end of the turn, you can rewrite back into the old Petralka, so you'll still be able to go back to the unit you want to be on. And then her other effect says on rearguard circle, she gets plus 5k power if you have a Petralka Vanguard. So basically, she is an 18k beater on rear, and she also extends for the Petrolka attacking, multi-attacking thing. That basically all these cards have the same name in deck, and what you can do is you can ride her once, ride her a second time, then go into her, and kind of that's usually the ideal situation. That way you still have the one extra copy left in deck for next turn, so you can do it again. And yeah, you want to basically hit these as much as possible. And on rearguard circle, it's fine too because she does still get the power, so it's really good. But yeah, that's her. And then onto our other grade 3s. Here comes all the 1-ofs. Just FYI, everything from here on out is all 1-ofs, so just bear with me here. LV, this is a countercharger. This deck's biggest weakness is the fact that Lyrical does not have good generic counterchargers. It has good specific counterchargers, but no good generic counterchargers. This is one of the few that you can work with. This is all your rear guards with different cards from her cannot be chosen. If they want to hit, you get to countercharge. It is pretty important. You do want the countercharge, but also the resist that the card gives is also really good because into decks that like to touch your board, this is the only card they can touch. So it's also just really nice to play around that. Forbidal lets you grab the other grade 3s that we'll be talking about, including the any good copies. This is pretty good, I would say. Once we get better grade 3s, this will be even better. So right now this is just good, and then it'll get better as we go. You don't have to run this. I know it's a very, very expensive card right now. So if you want to put another grade 3, I'll leave on the screen right now of a grade 3 you can shove in instead. So if you just want to play that, that's perfectly fine. Eloise says at the end of the battle she boosted. At the end of the battle she attacked while boosted. You can put her soul, choose one of your guys to give plus 5k. So she empties the board, which means then when you attack with Petrolka, if in case you happen to call a rear guard, you'll be able to call it to an open rear guard circle instead of having to call over cards. So that's also really nice. And then the 5k does matter. The only downside is this is a 12k, and it can be kind of hurtful. But yeah, you can run her, have fun with her. And then we have the mouse. This is Kinky. This is the card that forces you to have to run Mion as the starter. Her ability says on one place on rear guard circle, if you choose a grade 2 normal unit from that with a season's card, if you drop, put it into soul. You don't have to do it, you can. And then if you put it to soul, you can have boss give her 10k. This is pretty massive. It's the 23k beater, and then upper persona is 33k. This is very important. It makes really, really good numbers. This is one of the newer cards that came out recently. Very, very good card as well. Basically, she's 10k power, 10k shield, and then you can also bounce the thing behind her back to hand, which is also important. And then you can also extend attacks if you happen to guard with the OT early. The 2s are very small. We have Melty, boss, call card, draw card. Very impactful. The second effect does not matter. You can run a friends package in this deck if you want to. I chose not to, but you can. And then we have this girl right here. This is Relly. Relly is just there for the Soul Blast. You want to Soul Blast out certain cards, like you want to Soul Blast out Petrolka so that we can send Petrolkas back to deck. So that's also really important. And also the 5k is pretty nice. And then you can also Soul Blast Mion early to then use Kinky to then shove Mion back into Soul. Next we have the Ride Fixer. This is also really good. She gets the plus 5k onto the Persona on Persona turns, which is pretty good. But then you can also Soul Blast bottom decker and draw some cards early on. Also very impactful. I wish I could run this at La Picada. This is such a funny name. So this is a newer card as well. A lot of people don't run this card. Honestly, it's the Counter Blast. If this had any other skill on it, any other like just a cost for it, like even a retire ringer or something, this would be insane. But this card is actually really nuts. On Persona Ride, when you attack a Vanguard, you can Counter Blast, choose 2 other rear guards, return to hand, she gets plus 10. So she's a 30k beater, and she brings back anything. That PGs, triggers, whatever you want, she brings back. So this card is kind of nuts, but Counter Blast is very hurtful. So a lot of grade 1s to go through. We got Justine. Sometimes you discard, so she's just really good. This card is also really good. This is the Soul Blast discard card, draw card. Just stick through a deck, again, Soul Blasting those Petrolkas out as fast as possible. Also seeing certain pieces that you may need to see. There is a card in particular that you really want to see, and this card helps you find it. Next one, Reese's, just, you know, numbers. 10k is something very impactful. This is the gem. This is for the ride line. So this is the Illumirays. Again, this is just for the ride line. You get it from deck. And Yumika, obviously Yumika bounces cards. It's kind of pricey, but I do think you need this card more than the Forbidal probably. Bouncing rear guards is just super important, and she's gonna keep doing it all game. So really, really good. Because when your other rear guard is placed during the battle phase, you Soul Blast, you draw. Your soul gets so big. I know. Yeah, I showed all these cards that Soul Blast, but trust me, your soul gets big. Every time you call a rear guard, you just drop. Basically on during battle. It's just nuts. Soul Blast super draw is really good. This is Ura. This gets you your orders if it hits. So if it hits, you get to get the blitz order. So also really useful. Then we have Sia. Sia's really good. Soul Blast, look at top card, call it, or put it to hand, discard a card. Again, just filling board as fast as possible. This deck, if you can get to the cards that fill your board really fast, this deck gets insane and draws a lot of cards. The minute you don't see those cards, this deck flops. This is a super important card. This is the Radiance Pride. Very, very nuts card. This card is the card that sends back the Petrolkas. So you Soul Blast retire her, choose 2 other normal units that aren't grade 1s, and you send it back to the deck, basically. So I think it's pretty good. Like I said, just another, you just want to run good generic cards. And then we have the perfect guards. Obviously, they're all different. So you have two different perfect cards. Here's a Sanctitude, and you can change this if this is too expensive. You can make this a regular card too. I prefer the vanillas over the counter heals. This is just how I feel. I've recently been very into the regular heals. The shield is just really nice. All right, so crits, so a bunch of vanilla crits basically. Vanilla crit, and then we have the soul crit. You can be a vanilla as well. Vanilla crit. I'm running 7. I did have 8, but I think 7 is still better. You do want to draw. As sad as it uses, you do want to see it hit your draws, because now we have to run 7, because we do run the one front in here. So there's that, and then we have the one front, and then we run 3 draws, and you want to definitely have the 10K draw, because like I said, the shield does matter, so you definitely want to hit that. And that's basically that. And then I run the blue OT, but it's only because my red OT is currently being used up. I actually recommend the red over trigger. The blue one is fine too, because it can get you copies of Petrolka back to hand. It's also an extra crit, which actually is impactful. But I think if you want to close out games, I think the red OT is better. The red OT does force out the closeout. I actually have always been a fan of red OT over blue OT. Even in Ballista, I actually ran the red over trigger, and it definitely closed out games. Whereas this one has been like, oh, okay, well, it's a crit and a 10K, and a crit and 100 mil somewhere. I definitely had one game where I checked this, and I really wish it was the red OT, because I probably would have won the game off of it. So I recommend the red OT. However, most people, and I mean most people, prefer the blue OT. So this is probably more of a preference thing. If you prefer this one, have at it. And that's basically the deck. We can go ahead and do a quick mulligan run. It is a bunch of 1-ofs. It was a lot of 1-ofs, but we can go ahead and kind of do a quick run. My bad. So I wrote a 4. Opponent wrote a 2. We'll be going first. So let's go ahead. What our stakes are looking like. I'm gonna send back the heal. Keep the perfect guard. And probably keep this actually, since we're going first. I actually don't need this hand. And we drew into Kinky there, so let's go ahead and put this back. So this is okay. We can actually dump some of the grade 3s, and we get them back with Orbidol, so it's not the end of the world. But we're definitely got to give up some of these grade 3s, because we definitely want some shield. We're gonna go ahead and draw. That's not bad at all. So we're gonna pitch the Kinky here right into the grade 1, pass it to our opponent. We're gonna check PG. Okay, PG. Draw. And we're gonna go ahead and pitch. Oh, this is so brutal. We're probably gonna pitch the Adoween here. I'm not gonna lie. And right into the 2. Use the effect. We're gonna have to give up the front here. We're gonna give up the front. We really need normal units. Search our deck for a gem. Play the gem. Draw 2. 1 off the gem. 1 off of this. And oh, whoops. Okay. Now here I'm gonna go ahead and call out to this funny grade 1 here, because it's just funny. We're gonna go ahead and Soul Blast out a card, draw a card, ditch a card, draw a card. We'll go ahead and ditch the draw. He'll probably draw it too. Okay. And then here, up to you if you want to have any form of aggro. I think I'm just gonna leave it here, just swing and get a Reese's, and then we'll take another damage. So we're gonna heal. Cool. I guess we're not going super crazy next turn, which is fine. We can hold a turn. So we're gonna go ahead and do. We're gonna actually activate this for the discard. And then right into Petrolka and activate her ability here. Soul Blast, bomb deck, and draw. So that's really good for us, because we'll probably see her again. We'll see her more on Persona turns or something, and that would be way better for us. Our hand's not the greatest, to be honest with y'all, but we can make it work. It's like I said, not the end of the world. We'll probably call her out because we want a booster, or we want something to do. We can also use her ability here, which I might actually do here. So we'll go ahead and Soul Blast and draw. That actually does help a little bit. We can call out Reese here, and probably use Reese to give this 10K, and maybe even do a little swappy here. Probably attack with this, and then attack with Van. Drive check 1, drive check 2. It's another Petrolka. That's actually really bad for us. We got the other one, so we're fine. 4, 5, 7. So we hit the other one. Up to you. You can call like this or this, but we're actually just gonna go into this. That was a counter blast. He gets an additional 10K power. Then we're gonna swing with the drive check. On drive check, it's a Sia, and then we'll swing here to pass it back to our opponent. And we're gonna go back and right into her. So our hand's looking pretty okay. We're definitely gonna be taking damage if they allow it. We're gonna take some damage, get a crit there. That will definitely help us here. Our guard is not looking too healthy, but we can PG out a little bit here. We're probably gonna have to ditch Petrolka here. And then we do have her, so we can set it back, so we should be okay. But yeah, it's a little scary. And then we're gonna draw, and then we're gonna Persona Ride and draw again. We drew into OT. How wonderful! So we're gonna go ahead and call this, and actually we're gonna go ahead and before we call, we can call her. We'll use other effects. So let's use this effect first. We're gonna go ahead and Soul Blast out this grade 3 Patrolka. So then discard a card. We'll discard Sia here since we already have a board, and draw a card. We drew into another Patrolka. I hate it here. And then we'll use her ability to then, I guess, Soul Blast out the Ride Deck Patrolka, though we don't usually want to do that. Remove her, and then we're going to send back, let's see what we got here. We'll send back this Patrolka. We have another Patrolka to send back. Oh, it's unfortunate. We can send back the Ride Deck one, but that's kind of like not what we want to do. We'll probably send back the other one, and then we'll shuffle. So we're gonna go ahead and probably end it here. We're on Persona Ride, just something to keep in mind. So we have a little 10k buff right there. And yeah, keep in mind this can bounce back cards, so that's something to kind of utilize on. So we're probably gonna swing this way again, and then boost it. And then here we'll just swing in. We'll do our drive check. We do heal, which is actually really nice. I'll put power here, and then ooh, a crit. Oh, that's really good. So we got that, and then we'll use her ability. We'll counterblast 1 and check top 7. 7. So we did hit one. Kind of have a couple options here. I think I am going to go ahead and go into her. We have a lot of counterblast to work with. This is definitely the part where you want to try to close out if you can. One drive, get the melty, counterblast. We'll do another top 7, 3, 4, 5, 7. It's up to you which one you want to go into here. We can even go into a rear guard here if you want. It's completely up to you. I think here we will ride into the Patrolka. Swing, one drive. It's Eileen, and then here we will end it with this. We're going to use her ability to counterblast your attacks the Vanguard. We'll grab these two. Holy crap, our hair is getting massive. It's just a good thing. It's like a good thing and a bad thing. So we'll do that, and then she gets plus 10k. So this is 18. We hit some triggers, so 18, 28, 38, 48, 58 potentially, depending on where we put the triggers, and then we'll just go back to her and give it to pass it back to our opponent. We'll definitely take the first two. We heal again. Depending on what damage they're on, we heal anyway, which is actually very, very massive here. The heal actually is very important. It makes me regret using it one effect. So there we go again. So gosh, we're okay base. We do have the persona, so we want to keep this alive. To be honest, if they try to bully it, we do. So we're gonna go to 5 here, and if they try to bully that grade 2, we are definitely gonna protect it with our cards. We're gonna protect that card, and then this is definitely our final turn here. This is the last turn we got going. Drew into this girl, so we're gonna definitely Persona Ride again because we have nothing else to do with this card. Oh no, we drew into that. That's scary. That's dangerous, but it's okay. We'll just keep going. We're gonna go ahead and activate this. Probably give 10 here. So we'll probably do that, and then we can call Melty here if we want. It's a little risky, to be honest. I think we might have to skip on Melty. Not gonna lie, I think this is more impactful because it gives us the extra 5k. And then we'll probably call Eileen back here and probably stop there. So this is an extra 5k, so probably just do with this first boosted and check the top card. It's Element Area. Probably just put this to the bottom, to be honest. I think we have one more of these. We definitely want to hit it, and then we'll swing with this. Boosted. Do have the, oh my god, another heal. So this doesn't, I wish this happened in my real games because it's definitely the 10k here. And then a draw, put the power here. We do draw. We drew to a crit, and then activate the ability here. So we should have one more in deck. There it is. If we had done Melty, I actually would have drawn check. That was really sad. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So last card is Institute. So here we can grab whatever we want to grab. Obviously, we're just going to go ahead and grab the Patrolka. You can, of course, go into the rear guard again. You can. This is not too bad to go into as it gets a 5k to the front, but I think we'll just go into the extra Vanguard swing, and then swing with her, get our drive check, and then swing with this, use the ability again to counter blast, and this time we can bounce back. We have a couple options. We'll bounce back. Maybe we'll leave the grade 3 on the board and probably bounce back the back row. And then, yeah, pass it back to our opponent, and then we swap back. Realistically, we should die here. There's the Forbidal. We don't have anything else to do. I feel like we can survive one more turn, but I don't think we do. If we're facing our decks like Diva, this hand isn't it. Let's pretend we do somehow by miracle survive. I really doubt we would, but in case we do, we have a very dead turn. But I can at least show you guys how the rear guard end works since we haven't had the chance to use it yet. So we'll draw. We'll just keep this in hand, and we'll probably just swing because we're definitely gonna be calling a rear guard here, and then we'll swing with her. We'll do our drive check here, and then we'll counterblast, check whatever is left. You can call over this to call the rear here, and then just send this back, and then you can swing, and then we just take out. So that's it. That's the Petrolka deck. As you saw, some cards work, some cards don't work. By that, it means sometimes you see your cards. Like, that was a game where we never saw Forbidal. Because we never saw Forbidal, we couldn't utilize on the grade 3s as much. But it's okay. We saw our 2s and 1s, which are also really impactful, so we're able to kind of go off of that. But overall, it's a really fun deck. Like, if you get a little lucky, this deck like goes kind of nuts. If you don't get lucky, this deck flops like crazy. So it's kind of just one of those like weird weigh scale type of decks. It's just like when the weight's in your favor, it's like really good. But when things go wrong, you kind of plummet like crazy. That's all I have for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. 50 cards, shop OuterOrange for any of your goodies, any of the stuff you need. Hope you guys enjoyed my little video here. I think this deck is super fun to play. Definitely more casual, but super fun. But other than that, guys, peace out. Let's be honest. See you guys in the future video. Bye!